She kept quiet for years, but now she's ready to talk. Tina Ann McClain, who many people love as the star of House of Pain and Disney's Descendants, just told the truth, which has everyone in the business talking. It has everything to do with Tyler Perry. What she said about being stifled on set and being ignored behind closed doors changes everything. We thought we knew about one of Hollywood's most powerful producers. This isn't just another autobiography by a famous person, it's a wake-up call. Tina Ann McClain was known as Hollywood's golden girl for many years. She was beautiful, skilled, and always happy in front of the camera. Fans saw a young star on the rise who seemed to love being in the spotlight from her early days on Tyler Perry's House of Pain to her big break with Disney's A&T Farm and Descendants. But there was a very different story going on behind the polished acts and red carpet moments. Cheyenne is now ready to tell the truth. Tyler Perry is a famous director and media mogul who is often praised for giving black actors and artists their big break. Tina Ann has revealed a lot about her time working for Perry, which is both brave and emotional. Tina said that things were not as good as they seemed, though. You're about to hear the real reason she quit, what she went through behind the scenes, and why she thinks people should know the truth about how the business treats young actors, especially black women. Tina Ann isn't holding back any longer when she talks about things like controlling settings, creative censorship, and unspoken power dynamics. Even stranger things are about to happen. She says it's not just about her. The story is about a trend that has been going on for years without being stopped. Fasten your seatbelts, because this movie is about taking everything apart. When Tina Ann finally said enough, her mysterious interviews and posts that hinted at deeper pain showed that she was having a hard time behind the scenes of House of Pain, and what she said about Tyler Perry that fans didn't expect. You will not believe what she said about him in private conversations or who might be on her side behind the scenes. This is more than just theatre. This is a report. Before all the trouble and rumours of friction behind the scenes, Tina Ann McClain was Black Hollywood's model of young beauty. From the time she was born, Tina had a talent for music. Her father was a music director and her mother was a songwriter. By the time she was 7, she had her first part in the movie The Gospel. Tyler Perry quickly took notice. She was chosen as Jasmine Payne in Tyler Perry's hit sitcom House of Pain in 2007. The show brought black family life to the mainstream. It looked like the perfect chance for a young black actress to work for one of the world's most famous black directors. Millions of people love Jasmine's sassy charm and lightning-fast wit. A lot of people like Tina. From the outside, it looked like she was living the dream of every young actress. But there were things that the cameras never caught behind her contagious laugh and bright on-screen energy. In many talks over the years, Tina has given hints about the stress she felt when she first started out as an actress. She didn't say much about the long hours, the strict artistic control, and the times she didn't feel heard. When she said, "Not a person, especially when I was younger," on a show in 2022, it was a very telling moment. Even though she didn't name names in those talks, fans have listened to them again with fresh ears, especially since she recently told the truth about Tyler Perry. Since then, unnamed people who worked on the set of House of Pain have come forward to say that the work environment wasn't always supportive. Do as you are culture was talked about by many. Actors, even young ones, didn't have much say in how their characters grew, how long they worked, or even when they could speak up. Not only was this tiring for Tina, but she was also a kid actor. It made me feel suffocated. Even though she was feeling worse, Tina kept showing up. There was a smile on her face. She didn't look up. She tried to think that this was how Hollywood worked, especially for people who were lucky enough to get parts in Tyler Perry movies. But as she aged and gained more life experience, things started to change. She became more aware of the mismatch of power. She started to ask things. And people who know her well say that's when things really got tense. This is where things get interesting. The moment she started setting artistic limits, especially when it came to her faith, her morals, and her public image. People who know Tyler Perry's team say they didn't like it. Next, we'll talk about why Tina says she felt stifled and controlled, and how things got worse after a tense meeting behind closed doors. Tina and McClain were model professionals for years. They were always polite, always smiled and never made a scene. But behind that carefully put together front, anger had been growing, and it finally got to the point where it would boil. People who know Chyna well say that she had changed by the time she went back to the reboot of House of Pain in 2020. She was smarter, more emotionally stable, and more spiritual. Chyna came back with a sense of purpose. She wasn't the starry-eyed child star who was happy to do what she was told. She had limits, ideals, and a goal for herself that were bigger than sitcom scripts and laugh tracks, but it was said that some people in the production didn't like her efforts to speak up. Insiders on the set say Chyna started to question scenes that she thought went against her faith, especially ones with adult humor or themes she didn't want her character to be linked to. She wasn't asking for complete power over the work. Her behavior wasn't over the top. People say that when she was strong, things began to change behind the scenes. Several people who knew Chyna said that when she voiced worries, she was often ignored, fired, or told to trust the process. She tried to be polite at first, but as time went on, she got more and more angry about being ignored. She supposedly asked for a private meeting with Tyler Perry to talk about the direction of her character and to share some of the emotional pain she was feeling. This is the moment that changed everything. People who were there say that Chyna left the meeting in tears. A close friend of the actress said that she went in wanting to be heard, but the exact words that were said are not known to the public. She knew she would never be when she came out. That was the day she finally gave up. At work and in her personal life, she started to pull back. Fans began to pick up on small hints on social media, cryptic captions, references to spiritual warfare, and more talk about feeling trapped in places that didn't fit with her views. Chyna said in an Instagram live that the enemy isn't always clear. Occasionally he shows up as a chance, a success, or someone you used to trust. Fans thought she was talking about the business in general at the time. Now that I look back, those words sound like a straight message to someone. It could be someone like Tyler Perry. She started to separate herself from the show behind closed doors. She stopped accepting other jobs that had to do with the Tyler Perry name. She became picky about the movies she would do, and her energy on set changed in a noticeable way. Later, her co-workers said she was quieter and less outgoing, not the bubbly teen they remembered from when they were younger. Then she did the unthinkable. She quit the show. Chyna and McClain quietly quit the House of Pain franchise, even though she was one of the most famous and liked actors in the series. She chose to focus on faith-based work, content creation, and independent projects where she had full creative control. She never quit in a big way or wrote a book about it, but her silence spoke louder than any news release. People who worked with her a lot say she quit for one reason. She wouldn't give up her peace of mind and morals for money. Things get even worse from here on out. There were rumors going around behind the scenes that Chyna wasn't just leaving. She was getting ready to say something, and what she was about to say would make Tyler Perry's image fall apart. Next, we'll talk about what Chyna and McClain got out of her emotional online statement and how Tyler Perry's team reacted when the truth came out. Chyna and McClain finally got her to talk, but she didn't do it through the press. She didn't have lawyers carefully write and make a public statement. It wasn't even names that she used. Instead, she did what most people in this age do best. She told the truth. She went live. Chyna looked into the camera with glassy eyes and a steady voice in an unedited Instagram live that has since been screen recorded and shared on every social media site you can think of. What began as a simple check-in with friends quickly turned into something much more personal and deep. I have been quiet for a long time, but I will no longer be quiet. I need to tell the truth. People were going crazy just reading the first line. There were a lot of words of support, worry, and questions in the comments. What did she mean to say? Just what did she mean? Then she dropped the first big secret. Some people in this field whom you look up to and believe are doing God's work are actually just abusing their power to boss people around. I've seen it on set. It happened to me, but no one talks about it because they're scared. At that time, she didn't say Tyler Perry's name directly, but the signs were too clear to miss. People started putting together the time frame, the references to her time on House of Pain, and the religious language right away. Everything led in the same way. The next part was more direct. I wanted to leave the set sometimes and told them, this doesn't feel right, but they told me to push through it. And the people who made those choices were not strangers. I had looked up to them. In the next part, she supposedly talked about a time when she tried to complain to a scene on House of Pain that she thought was morally and spiritually wrong. She said that she was forced to do it anyway because refusing would affect production and that she should be thankful for the chance to do it. If they say they're giving you a stage, they really want you to follow their rules. People call you tough, ungrateful, or emotional if you say no. The live show went on for almost 30 minutes. Even though Chyna never said anything rude or critical, what she said had a strong impact. She spoke not only as a former child star, but also as a young black woman who had grown up in a business that praised creators like Tyler Perry while ignoring the mental harm going on behind the scenes. Her message hit home, especially with other young artists. Some of them started writing mysterious messages afterwards, which seemed to suggest that Chyna wasn't the only one who had felt uneasy while listening to Perry's music. The Instagram live went global in just 24 hours. YouTube channels, gossip blogs, TikTok pages, and podcasts all had clips of her statement. Hashtags like #Chyna and McClain, #House of Pain Truth, and #Tyler Perry Exposed gained a lot of attention. Fan sites were full of arguments. Some people praised her bravery, while others supported Perry and asked what she was trying to do. After that, Tyler Perry's team replied. Several people who work in the industry say that Tyler Perry Studios reached out to Chyna's team privately to try to explain what she said. A person with knowledge of the situation said that a letter telling them to stop was quietly written, but it hasn't been confirmed yet whether it was actually sent. It didn't work to shut her up, though. She wrote, "You don't scare me," in a follow-up post on her Instagram story. "I'm safe and I'm not here to hurt. I'm telling you the truth. That's what God told me to do. It was brave. It didn't say sorry." One thing was made clear. Chyna and McClain was done following the rules of Hollywood. But now comes the part that no one saw coming. Two people who used to work with Tyler Perry. It is now said that more people, including an actress who has a major part in another hit show, are planning to speak out. Could this be the start of something much bigger? Chyna and McClain broke the silence around Tyler Perry's business when they found out more about it. What began as one brave voice quickly began to reveal a much deeper story that had been building for years. People thought Tyler Perry could not be hurt for a long time. A giant who built a media company worth $1 billion from scratch. Without any help from big studios, he was praised as a pioneer, especially in the world of black entertainment, for making jobs, giving new actors chances, and letting stories that weren't usually told get told. But as Chyna's news spread, a different picture started to show itself. Soon after Perry's Instagram live went viral, fans started seeing strange posts from stars who had worked with her before. Quotes about power, silence, and artistic control that are at first hard to understand. Then there was one post that stopped everyone. A well-known actress from the haves and the haves and the have-nots, who did not want to be named, put up a black screen with one phrase on Instagram. She didn't lie, there are no tags or marks, only those 4 words. But the internet got it right away. Fans of the show knew that she had worked with Tyler Perry for a long time, and that one post was enough to make people think that Chyna's situation wasn't the only one. Not long after, an assistant director who used to work on If Loving You Is Wrong wrote, "The public doesn't know so much." It's not as powerful to work under that system as it seems from the outside. Then there was another voice, this time from a background character who had been in several Tyler Perry shows over the course of 4 years. She said in a TikTok video that went viral, "People think working for Tyler Perry is a dream come true, but a machine. A machine that works quickly and doesn't care about what you say or do. If you say something, you're gone. If you ask for a break, someone else comes in to do it." Chyna and said what many of us have been thinking for a long time. These truths were very painful to hear, especially since they came from within. Not rumors from tabloids or talk shows, but from people who had been on those sets. Things get even worse from here on out. A memo that was supposedly from Tyler Perry Studios got out and started going around in fan groups and the media. Even though its authenticity hasn't been proven, it is said to have laid out public relations guidelines for handling social media accusations and stressed the importance of keeping the public away from material that is meant to stir up trouble. Was the company trying to keep its good name, or was it frantically trying to keep a story from getting away? There is one thing that is clear. It got harder for Perry to keep up her public image as more people spoke out against her. Even though he hasn't said anything in public about what China and McClain said, his choir is getting louder every day. Some people started to wonder how his kingdom really worked. Why does he seem to be the only writer on his shows? Why does he not want to work with other artists to tell a story when so many have said they don't feel comfortable? And why have so many former workers talked about burnout, creative tension, and a work environment where questioning the process was seen as betraying the company? But now comes the biggest surprise. A source from a big network who did not want to be named said that executives are re-evaluating future partnerships with Tyler Perry because of the controversy. There has been no official statement yet, but the fact that big networks are even thinking about pulling their support shows how serious things could get. Fans are now split. Others want openness, accountability, and most importantly, freedom for Black creatives to grow without being stifled or controlled. Some people still support Tyler Perry and think these revelations are overblown or misunderstood. For China and McClain, this could be the start of bigger things. Rumor has it that she's writing a full-length memoir right now, and insiders say she's naming people. After her brave statement sent shockwaves through the industry, many people thought China and McClain would go away, quietly disappearing from public view, like so many others who were brave enough to speak out. The next event, however, showed that China wasn't just making things up. She took back her freedom, her identity, and her future. Insiders in the publishing industry say that China has officially signed a deal with a big publishing house for a memoir. The book will be about her life, including her career, her faith, her betrayal, Hollywood politics, and finally her healing. Early reports say she's been writing for over a year and does talk about Tyler Perry by name in a few key parts, but she hasn't made the book public yet. This isn't a payback book, according to someone who was involved with the process. It's an act of spiritual witnessing and telling the truth. She is not writing to hurt other people. Instead, she is writing to free herself and maybe help other people do the same. It looks like her faith has held her together through everything. In the past few years, China has become more public about her Christianity. She uses her fame to share Bible verses, lead conversations on spiritual growth, and talk about how it hurts to give up your values for fame. Not only is she talented, but she also won't water down her message to fit in with popular culture. She wrote in a strong post, "I'd rather be cancelled by the world than being stilled by my own spirit. Now that God gave me this voice, I'm not going to waste it." The focus of her new YouTube series is on telling the truth about the business without any filters. It's already her job to teach the young artists who are coming up behind her about the mistakes she made when she was young and open. China says she doesn't regret anything, even though she's gotten a lot of bad press. It was worth it if one girl felt less alone or if someone chose to stand up for themselves after seeing me do it. As for Tyler Perry, he doesn't say anything. Publicly, no statements, no denials, no confirmations. And maybe the quiet says more than any words could. There is now a lot of attention on her because she spoke out against the system that made her, not just because she is a well-known young actor. She made fans, networks, and creators think, what are we really backing when we don't care about what someone else's silence costs? Now we're here. One of the most important young voices of our time has come out of hiding, and she's not going away. Anne McClain's trip through China is more than just a story. There is a trend, a warning that behind every smile is a real person, even in a business that is based on lights, cameras, and applause. It's now your turn to speak out if you found this story powerful, helpful, or even just interesting. Leave your thoughts in the box below. Do you believe what China says? What do you think this means for Tyler Perry's future? Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next big entertainment news. Click the like button and follow for more stories based on fact. Here on World of Stars, we find out what they don't want you to know.